Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. And my, what an exciting episode. This is going to be really cool. So this is the launch. This is the official launch, the podcast expansion to a Monday and a Friday show with some of the coolest people doing some of the coolest things in the coolest industry. How you like that?
I like it.
Susan, better known as Shed Gal. That one guy sounded a little too excited, but so tell me, Susan, what are we doing?
Well, hello, everybody. You know, we've been talking for a while, the three of us, about expanding your podcast. We know your podcast is this huge benefit in the industry. People love it.
Wait a minute. Okay, one more. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And, we've come together and here we are. And this is our first time the three of us are speaking together. So I'm really glad to be here. Really excited for what's to come.
This is dropping the information that there will be a Monday show every week with yours truly, the Shed Gal.
That's right. So I am going to be hosting the Shed Geek podcast every Monday. Very, very much looking forward to meeting even more people in the industry and learning myself more and hearing people's stories about what brought them here, where they're going, what they're doing, what works, what doesn't work. And I'm thrilled to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing. You have a heavy focus on carports, steel buildings, post frame. You tell it. I want to make sure I don't forget anything or add too many things.
Yeah. So our vision has dramatically grown over the last few months, and we're not doing super centers, folks. That name's taken. We're gonna do Megamarts, Shed Gal Megamarts.
Hey,
and
right back here.
And
super centers?
No, that's
I don't think so.
That's so 30 days ago. No. There's some fantastic lots and stuff ideas out there. But what we're trying to do is bring together a lot of different sister products, make it bigger, better, badder, in a good way, and expand throughout the country. So 2 locations in the works right now. Number 3 is right here in my head. I know where I want to go. Just got to get some buy-in on that. And we're going to expand as we go along. And Phoenix is going to be a little bit different from Greenville than will be different from Washington State or Michigan or that sort of thing. But the metal buildings, we're going to have a ton of, we're not 4 or 5 metal building displays, but numerous metal building displays, all different sizes, wide span. We're going to bring in sheds, and we're going to bring in a lot of sheds. We're going to have play sets, perhaps outdoor furniture, all those items. Some special surprises will be coming. But we are going to do some that I haven't seen myself. There may be some lots like it, but certainly not out on the West Coast. And we're going to do something that is kind of leading the industry. And it's the way I think the industry is going to go. I think that dealers are going to expand. It's not going to be a realtor sells a shed or 2 a month. It's going to be professionals selling a whole bunch of sheds and metal buildings and carports. And so we'll see. We'll come back 5 years from now. We'll sit here, right here again. And we'll see. But I think we're going to all see big changes in the industry over the next few years.
And I'm super excited that as you go out and meet these people, and you travel so much as it is, you're traveling all over the place. You're Where's Waldo is Where's the Shed Gal, right?
It's the new game coming out next month.
And you are, you're a diplomat, you're a conversationalist, you are a personality, and you're able to bring that to the microphone and tell these people's stories on Monday as you expand and travel and brand farther, and you're going to be able to add value to those Monday shows, which, you know, the shed industry is not just the shed industry anymore. I mean,
Exactly.
it is, but it's not. There's all these, the metal side, the square tubing, the post frame,
Absolutely.
the barn doors. I mean, you name it. There's so many nuances to just being a shed dealer for some, maybe not for all,
Right.
but for many
Very
in the
true.
industry. So you're going to be able to talk to those people and tell their stories. And
I can't
it's
wait.
something we've wanted to do for a long time. And I can't think of anybody better to go out and
Thank you.
make those conversations happen.
I appreciate it. I love it. I mean, today stopped by 3 different dealer lots, found myself in South Carolina today, and that's what I do. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing. I mean, yesterday I was in Canada. Met a dealer at the and his son at the Shed Haulers Bash, and I just happened to be in the neighborhood. And that's what I do. I am so intrigued by people's stories, and I love this industry so much.
Yeah.
And it's the stories and the people. I just can't wait to. I already travel around all over. I'm just going to ask some of you to be on my podcast.
There you go.
You know.
Well, the people love you too. I mean,
thank
Shed
you.
Sales Professionals, Shed Haulers Page, Shed Manufacturers. I see you comment and I see your positivity. I see that you're always promoting others. You know what I mean? You're always encouraging others. I think people see that and they appreciate that. And you have this whole brand of Shed Gal and who she is.
Yeah.
And that's really awesome to kind of be able to bring an every Monday show to the industry and industries.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
guess you'd say.
And one of the things that's really cool is, I mean, you're so good at what you do. And it's not taking place of that. It's in addition to it that we're going to get to explore some little bit different things. And,
Absolutely.
And we'll all have our different, take of how we do the podcast or what questions we ask. But I guarantee you this, it'll always be it's worth the price you paid for it.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be fun. I just want to get to know people, and I am all about helping other people. And it is literally who I am. You cannot fake this.
Yeah.
It's who I am. Yeah. So I'm super excited. This is another way I can get out there and help people too.
They ask that all the time. Hey man, I tried to catch that episode. I don't catch them all. There's no expectation.
Right.
Like, we want to put out good content that's helpful, that's friendly, it's educational, it's entertaining. It makes your day a little bit better if you're a hauler, a builder, a salesperson, a supplier, whatever it is. It's a voice for the industry. That's what we're going for. And it's nice to have 2 more voices helping in that endeavor. And I can think of none better than Shed Gal on Monday. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait to become your number 1 fan and listen to every Monday.
Awesome.
So,
I love Knuckles.
Yes, that's right.
I love
that's
that.
Right. Digital Shed Builder is an online shed configurator that strives to provide incredible visual quality, fantastic customer service, and an amazingly low price point, making it a perfect fit for any shed dealer looking to increase their online sales. Digital Shed Builder is simple to use, taking less than 5 minutes to integrate on your site. The Get a Quote feature streamlines your sales process, showing you exactly what your potential customers need. They offer a highly customizable experience that accurately represents your brand and unique shed offerings, working with you directly to set up everything you need in a configurator. With no extra startup cost, no lengthy contracts or commitments, and no hidden fees, Digital Shed Builder has been created with quality, simplicity, and affordability in mind.
Love it.
But then, wait a minute. There's a third wheel here.
But wait. There's more.
So we found some other guy that's hardly known in the shed industry. Probably have heard of him once or twice. I don't know. If you message him on Facebook Messenger, he may return your message 2 to 3 years afterwards. We need some intro music. We need some.
You're just not going to let that go, are you?
Come on in here. Who is that? Yeah. Get like a little. Oh, man. Wait a minute. We should all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Sambasador.
Ambassador.
You guys
Gosh, what a
kill me.
welcome. Wait a minute.
I can't even follow that.
You ready? Let's try this again.
I'm just.
You ready? Let's give us Sambasador again. Welcome, Sambasador. You ready?
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Sambasador.
Is that more accurate?
That's much better. Much better. I'm just honored and excited to be here.
Dude, we're honored and excited. Are you kidding? Like, you are the. Hey, look, we have a friend on the podcast. He's gone.
Thank
Okay.
you for not flicking that at me.
It's the official podcast mascot. What are we?
Podcast mascot.
A stink bug.
So accurate.
Oh,
That was
boy.
That was priceless.
You are the first person I called a Shed Celebrity.
That's interesting because we throw that around pretty generous now. It's good.
It is. I remember watching you on Facebook and being like, "This guy's crazy."
Thank you.
Like, I want to watch this guy because he's captivating. And I said it before, Susan, and I'll say it again. 220 shows plus, something like that now. I don't know where we're at, 3 years in.
wow.
Most listened to episode,
That's right.
Sam Byler.
Whoop, whoop.
I have no idea why. It was a late night in Texas. I know that.
Yeah, it was.
A very late night.
Very late night.
But it was good.
It's because you have good stuff to say and people want to listen.
So you guys mentioned a couple things I want to back up on. I know Shed Gal's heart's in this, and has been, and her positivity just, I mean, you can't help but get some of it. It just rubs off on you. And what she said about what you do and the integrity you carry on this show and the way you keep it real. And I always like that line. I don't know if you even use this line much anymore. Hopefully this is not one of the trademark lines that we get in trouble for.
Oops.
The education through entertainment.
Yeah.
That has always been a big deal to me, that we can be, I know guys that they're out in the shops, they're building barns and they're listening. There's ladies and guys sitting in offices waiting for that next customer. They're listening. There's guys driving trucks down the road with their load of barns. They're listening. And the reason they all keep listening and the reason that you keep going up is because you've done a very well job at keeping education with entertainment.
I appreciate
And
that, man.
That's
Yeah.
That's as high as a compliment as I could hope to get from.
Don't expect too many of them, but
Yeah, keep them coming. Keep them
start.
coming. Did you say we was doing a good? Oh, come on.
The other reason I feel like I'm here is because I feel like the Lord's throwing shade on me.
I've heard this once today already.
We've already heard this one time today.
Let's make sure that record button's going here.
Y'all want to pay attention right now because
yeah.
this is going to get good.
Because I remember exactly where we're at on Interstate 77 northbound leaving Marietta, Ohio, when you told me that you want to do a podcast on the shed industry. And you probably don't remember what I said because you probably blocked it out of your mind. But I looked at you and said, you lost your mind. Nobody's going to listen to it. And first of all, not me. And
Wow.
now I don't think it's anything but the grace of God that finds me in this chair to do the exact same thing. And it's a high honor to be here with the both of you two.
I
Wow.
can't appreciate your kind words enough. And I think I'd start with it's a testimony to just being resilient and protect your dreams. I think I told you earlier, I tell my wife, listen, even if you feel led or you feel like this is really important to you, don't even let me discourage you. Mm-hmm. You know, don't let anybody take that dream that you have and want to do it. And you think, well, a podcast on the shed industry, and to be honest with you, man, I've listened to years of podcast and audiobooks and talk radio. And even as a young guy, I would watch Face the Nation, 12 years old. My mom's like, what is he, you know?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So, political show on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And it was like,
Painful.
who could be interested in that? But I know it's weird. You don't have to, I know. But I find a lot of like, Gary Vaynerchuk says success leaves clues. And I think a lot of other people leave those clues behind on their journey. There's a lot of failures, there's a lot of successes, but there's one thing that remains the same is they leave clues behind. And for me, I feel like that's what reading is, that's what education is. So we wanted to laugh and joke and cut up because, one, we believe, the Lord has a sense of humor. I've always
Have you looked
believed
at
that.
people recently?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You're going to have fun with that sound effect on your board, aren't you?
Damn, I can edit the sound in.
Shannon has no idea what he's just cut loose. There's going to be so many wah-wahs going on.
I believe it's okay to laugh, man, and I believe
Absolutely.
I believe education is something that is near and dear to all three of our hearts, and not just mine.
Mm-hmm.
Susan is so made such an impact on me already. In I don't know if I want to use the right word, but the aggressiveness in which you pursue education for dealers, and how important you feel that is, and how under utilized it is currently. I know that this is what you've done with the hauler event and encouraging haulers to be there is to increase the communication by sitting around at a table and chatting with your collaborators and your competitors, your friends and your foes, but sort of, so I think education has been super important. And who's to say you can't educate even if we compete? Matter of fact, I learn more from my competitors
Exactly.
than anything.
Yeah.
And it inspires me to do better. So at iFab LLC, our passion is welding, fabricating, and design. That's why in 2015, we began to commercially market our product to the shed, portable building, and mini barn industry. Our product is primarily used to build trusses. Our truss saw system cuts boards in one motion, and our truss press system installs and presses the gusset plates to a finished truss. We custom fabricate jigs that assure perfectly symmetrical truss setup without error. We also have other products designed to help your shed builder increase quality, efficiency, and save money. Our precision door tape will build your custom doors square every time and easily adjust to build any door. For products like these or other custom fabrication services for your barn shop, visit ifabllc.com or call 563-422-7496 or simply email us at ifabllc@gmail.com. Dude, I'm just really excited about this. And maybe we did open up Pandora's box here, but I got to tell you, I could not have picked two people that I'd rather be on this adventure with that represent the industry with or without a podcast. So now we're just doing it three wide.
That's right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that too. And I feel, right now I'm literally having imposter syndrome. I'm just going to get real for a minute. I'm not worthy of being here, not asking for any backup. I am so honored to be with both of you that I mean, I'm not a crier, and I'm thinking of tearing up here. I mean,
Every time you think of crying, punch Sam. It'll make you feel better.
It isn't that I don't know what I'm talking about or I don't truly want to help. It's not that. It's like that I'm not worthy, and I am worthy.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting here for a reason because of the work that I put in.
That's right.
But it is, boy.
Well, and you've
it's awesome.
protected your dream and vision and brand just the same. We probably all could sit here and talk about the pitfalls and the downfalls and the struggles, and those are real, and maybe you'll get a dose of some of that. But the reality is, it's your resilience, it's your willingness to fall down 7 times, get up 8. It's your willingness to have a passion for something. Like, be passionate about sheds. That sounds weird, But let's be honest, it's so much more. It's
It
the
is
people,
so much more.
it's the families,
Yep.
it's the careers, it's the testimonies. It's all of these things that you get to experience by being vulnerable to put yourself out there and get on a microphone. And I have people, you guys are going to hear it too. Oh, I don't have nothing to add.
Oh yeah.
I would love to come on there, but I don't have nothing to say. Oh man, you're probably going to be the most listened to guest. It's the guys who think they have nothing, the gals who think they have nothing to say that I typically get the phone calls on, and they're like, who is that? That's great. I want to meet them.
That's awesome.
You
that
have
is
more, you
really
are
cool.
uniquely made,
Yep.
and you will have a unique voice whenever you do sit down and put a mic to it. We don't script it. We keep it real. We sit down and have a conversation among friends. We talk about the industry, where it's going. How'd you get here? What's it doing? Where's it been?
Yeah.
What can you do to help your fellow seller, your fellow hauler, your fellow manufacturer? You know, you got to you supply the industry. Hey, come on and talk about it.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
why not? We want to know about it. So come on and talk about it. Maybe if we do a good job, we can poke you for some advertising.
Yeah. Yep.
So some have done a good job and still don't want to advertise, but we might have to cut that out, huh?
Sam hasn't went to talk to him yet.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you know, I really feel like it's a cool space. It's a nice space for everybody just to sit down and chat. And you know what, man? There's so much junk out there junk out there today that there is. It's a good, clean spot to have fun and talk about business, talk about faith, talk about family. And you know what? If the conversation veers off in this direction or that direction, so be it.
So you hit on something that's very important to me and was long before. I don't know. This goes all the way back to when I did prison ministry for 25 years. The telling the story part of this podcast is what ultimately stands out to me the most. And we heard that in the episode we did today. You know, I've known this guy for years. And you get on a podcast with him, you say, hey, you know, just tell me where you know, what you said. Where did you come from? What are you doing? Where are you going? That whole thing. Now I want to do Cotton Eye Joe after.
Wow.
Don't look at me like I'm
Ooh.
crazy.
I can't wait. I can't wait
no.
to hear that podcast.
But it's, so when I was in prison ministry, the thing that I felt like set me apart and the thing I was good at was I listened. And when you go into a prison and there's 400 guys in there, nobody really listens to them. Oh. So if you take the time to sit down and listen to them and listen to what they're actually saying, and I learned this a long time ago, you don't listen to respond, you listen to learn. When you do that and you do it with guys that are incarcerated, that are locked up for something, and you listen to learn their story, they figure out that you care. And it's the same thing with people on the outside. It's the same thing with people in business. Same thing with people. I don't care where you go. If you listen to them and you want to hear their story. So I just got to where I got addicted to hearing people's story. I want to know what are they doing here. Susan's story is one of those stories that grabs me. You know, the reason she's so high on education was because that's what she was trained to do in another field. And when she went to find a shed, she couldn't find that. And she'll bring that up all the time in her story that, you know, I went to buy a shed and I couldn't even find anybody that knew what they were doing. That's not to say there's not guys out in this industry that don't know what they're doing. There's guys that really know what they're doing well.
Absolutely.
They're just not good at training other people how to do it. That's why I've always said that, you know, I see corporations all the time. They take their number one sales guy and they try to make him a sales manager. It doesn't work. Most times, guys, it can work occasionally, but most times guys that are really good at selling are not that good at training other people.
They want to keep selling.
There is the occasional one. I could throw out about a half a dozen names of guys that I really respect that came from sales that are really good sales managers and leaders. So I'm not trying to throw everybody under that bus, but it takes a different breed of person to do that. And that it intrigues me Like I want to dig into people. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll figure that out real quick. I'm a people watcher. I love watching people. I don't want to get involved with them. But what makes people tick?
Yeah.
And to hear their story just gives you so many of those pieces to that. And that's what we do. We get to hear their story. We get to pick them apart a little bit. And through that, you can learn from them. And that's great.
I love the idea of being able to like give a voice to the industry, literally a voice.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for the folks that's like, oh no, well, do I need a script? Hey man, this industry is very forgiving. Like you can show up in cowboy boots and blue jeans and you can pretty well fit in on just about any shed lot. Now, some of them might say, well, we want you to dress a little nicer, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But typically speaking, they're so forgiving. We've done podcasts where we're at shed hauler events and there's tables slamming in the back and everything, babies crying. You know what I mean? And people are just kind of understanding that like you're not putting on a front, and they appreciate that. You are who you are. It's very simple. And we've tried to display that on the podcast from day one. Hey, this is a conversation with 2 friends or 3 friends or your whole team around a campfire. We don't treat it any different. We don't, you know, we keep it positive. You know, we don't trash any companies.
Yeah.
You know,
is that a warning to me?
Yeah. He was
I know
literally, he was like this.
Yeah, because I know he's not
looking at me.
talking to you.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless. You don't get me speechless too often. I made sure to look away too, Sam. I looked away. So,
Oh boy.
But we do, you know, like we want it to be a voice of positivity and just, you know, encouragement. And we know, we get it. We hear all the stories already. We know bad things happen. We know that disappointments in business happen, disagreements. That doesn't mean that we stop. Doesn't mean we give up. It doesn't mean we carry on. Don't carry on. It doesn't mean we don't learn how to forgive. You know what I mean? Like you
and it doesn't mean we don't care. We do. But yeah, you just sometimes you can't draw sides. And
Yes.
That's
been
very true.
That's been tough for me to learn. I've had a lot of comments on some of my posts recently about, you know, there's more than one side to the story. There's more than 2 sides. Sometimes there's multiple sides. And that's all good and well. I get that. But sometimes you don't draw sides.
Are you a dealer who sells multiple products at your shed lot? Are you tired of sifting through clunky or overcomplicated softwares to simply sell a product? If so, it's time to call Cal. Consumer Aligned Logistics is the affordable, simplified, and scalable solution for your shed, carport, or even RTO company. We are partnered with Idea Room and Shed Pro for configurators and have multiple RTO partners to choose from JMag to Heartland to Shed Geek Rentals and Scott's RTO. And if your partner isn't listed here, just ask. We are happy to add more. Give us a call at 425-359-3279 or visit calcanhelp.com. That's CALCANHELP.com. Dylan said something to me recently. You guys know Dylan, and I work with him closely in marketing. And he
Shout out.
Yes, absolutely. Shout
My
out.
hero.
Shed Gal, or no, not Shed Gal Marketing. That would be at Shed Geek Marketing, not Shed Gal Marketing. No.
Just a matter of time.
Is this a
It's
new
a matter
rumor?
of time.
Are you starting something?
We need to talk. We
I
got
had
some
that
ideas
idea
working
30 days
here.
ago.
It's just a slip of the tongue. Sorry.
Inside joke. Dylan said, you know, you got to be careful not to let your offense become my offense. And I was like, wow, that's pretty deep. You know, you've had a bad experience with somebody. I haven't had that experience. I'm not belittling your experience. I just haven't had it. You get the benefit of the doubt. You know, Mark chapter 6, verse 4, Jesus, you know, said no man without honor is among his family and friends, right? Like, you know, his own brother didn't believe he is the Messiah. And if I'm misquoting the Bible, send me an email. I don't know. I'm just telling you, like, you know, like you're not always going to be loved by everybody or believed by everybody, and that's okay. That's okay. We've all three experienced
that
failure.
is definitely okay.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Well, and here's, guys, come on. If everybody loves someone, that person is not genuine, because it's impossible to please everybody. We just got to do the best that we can do.
So what are we going to do? What are you going to be talking about?
I wondered I wondered if we were going to get back to my
veered
day,
off of that.
Friday.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Friday is fun day. It's payday.
right.
It's the weekend.
And it's Sam
So
Day.
if we didn't do anything else right, at least we got the day right.
That's right. Well, what are you going to be talking about? What do you?
Well, obviously I'm not going to get near as philosophical as you two are. Or sometimes when I listen to Shannon, I'm like,
where'd he go?
I don't even know where he's at right now.
I do that with your Facebook post, so we're even.
I know. That's the wrong one.
That's all right. Just put you. What else we got here? There we go.
There we go. That fits. That's
That'll
twice in
that'll
one
be
day.
edited out.
I'll tell you what, man. I love that whole deep philosophical stuff where you just really get in there and like grind. And some people are like, "Yep, I like to keep it very topical." It's not me. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
I got to interrupt here. My husband the other day said, "Did you know Sam got stabbed?"
Oh, that's
Okay.
right.
All right.
What happened?
Hey, if you want to know the details, you need to go follow him on MeWe.
That's right. The story's on me.
But I had to tell him you
I
really
didn't
hadn't
get
been
stabbed.
injured. You had
Yeah.
not been injured. So
It
sorry about that.
gets so bad that people even pick apart what I say and they misquote me on it.
Of course.
I didn't say I didn't get stabbed for any reason, for no reason, which I got quoted later as saying. I said I got stabbed for no cause. There is a difference in no reason and no cause.
Yep.
No cause means that there was nothing was at the end of the stabbings. There was nothing there for any cause. The reason was I was trying to get my blood work done.
Exactly.
Oh,
I'm just caught up in the gaze of your story here. Continue on.
no, I'm not going into my health story today. We'll have to do an episode.
That'll be hour 3. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I heard that. But yeah, so yeah, sometimes there's good reason to be vague. Sometimes there's not so good reason to be vague, but I do it anyway.
Would you say that you on Facebook? I don't know how this word's going to go over, but we're going to say it anyway because we got edit buttons. Would you say that you occasionally troll?
Nah, I never troll.
No?
No.
I wonder.
I got a big bridge I live under, but
I feel like occasionally you will put something out there just to sort of test the water.
Oh, that's different than trolling.
Yeah.
The trolling is the people
Yeah.
reading those posts.
It's become like the connotations probably become a little negative when you hear troll. It's like influencer. Somebody says, "Oh, you're an influencer," and conservatively, you're like, "No." Most people that are conservative are like, "No, I'm not influenced. I'm independent. I'm my own thinker." And it's like, "Yeah, all that's true," but I don't think they're saying that like influencers in like somebody says jump, you say how high, because like we all influence. I mean, why do we want referrals? Referrals are influence from your neighbors to say, "Yeah, I bought a good shed here, and that was good, so you should go there too, and you can trust me because I'm your neighbor." You know, it's not really fair to say, "Well, they're an influencer." You know, I'm not Mr. Beast over
You have a
here.
good point there, right?
We all influence every day.
let's just leave it that I live under a bridge pretty regular.
but you are an influencer.
A philosophical one.
I feel like you have a crowd. You have a crowd of followers. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And maybe you have a crowd of non-followers.
I don't know. They still seem to find my content.
Well, you know what? Top listen to podcasts, right?
I guess. I don't know. It's the people that actually know my family realize how much of an anomaly I am. The whole big on Facebook, big personality on Facebook thing. It's not that, you know, if you hear my kids talk about it, they're just like, it's crazy. It's like, what
I
in the
want to
world?
address this. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
like we've
I should
obviously.
get my kids on one time,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they'll never do
They'll
it.
roll their eyes, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
Maybe
they
they'll
will.
come on my podcast.
if somebody.
And I can ask the
Oh, you
questions.
should. You totally should.
They're like, Dad's making an idiot out of himself on Facebook.
Well,
again."
I'll occasionally get somebody, and I've seen this with you, where like they'll stand in line at a hauler event to shake your hand, and they're appreciative for you, and that's pretty awesome. Of course, I make fun of you for it, but I've gotten the Sam treatment once or twice in the last year, and my wife just rolls her eyes because she's like, "Oh wait, I've seen him lose all his charm. He's not that impressive."
That's
So,
exactly right.
and I'm like,
the
"No,
thing
if they
is,
only knew."
the difference is I've lost my charm on Facebook, so you don't have that advantage.
That's true.
It's like what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
The one thing that I get my fair share of hate mail, and I don't focus on it, but it's funny to me, and it does keep me honest a little bit.
Sure.
Like I do the gut checks. I'm not crazy enough to not do that, even though I am kind of crazy. But it's important to me that I don't want to lead people somewhere they don't want to be. I don't look where they want to go and lead them there. I go the direction I want to go. I got one of my best friends refers to me as a bulldozer, and he means that in a good way because he says I have a plow on the back. So when I go plowing, I don't plow in fields because I run over fences and stuff. You'll figure that one out tomorrow. Because
Have you done personality tests like some of the?
I've done hundreds of them, and it's
Is it come back consistent for you?
No, it's all over the board. I'm an introvert one time, and then I'm an extrovert,
Well,
and then
I actually want to
then I'm a
address
D,
that.
then I'm an I, then I'm an S. It's
So mine always comes back as trailblazer, new idea, heavy visionary, really lacking on implementation, right? Systems and processes. I've had to work to improve those for me because I can occasionally get, caught by a squirrel of an idea and be like, oh, over here,
yep.
something shiny. That's neat. Let me think that through. And then just really, really, really dive in for 3 or 4 days. Like, yeah.
Are you ready to elevate your shed business to new heights? Your pathway to success just got a whole lot smoother with ShedSuite's innovative marketing platform. At ShedSuite, we like to think we understand the shed industry at least a little bit. And over the last 7 years, we've been building awesome software for shed businesses. We focus first on building easy-to-use software to help you create and track orders, like the point of sale and after the sale order fulfillment. And now we're excited to announce our full-feature CRM, all things pre-sale, like prospecting and follow-up, all to empower your shed company to market better and sell more efficiently. Our platform empowers you with a marketing toolkit designed to amplify your online presence, engage your audience, and drive sales like never before. Enjoy the ease of conversion tracking, email marketing, centralized lead communication, and so much more. Oh, and guess what? It even comes with an iPhone and an Android app. With ShedSuite's marketing platform, crafting and deploying effective marketing campaigns is a breeze. The advanced reporting functionality allows your team to analyze real-time conversion data so you can make informed decisions and watch your business flourish. There's no better time than now to join the community of shed business owners who are scaling up with ShedSuite. It's time to turn your marketing efforts into real trackable results. Visit shedsuite.com/marketing to get pricing, explore the features, and book a demo. ShedSuite is committed to building top quality software to empower your shed business to thrive.
I want to address something you said. You said introvert. And a lot of people don't realize that the three of us have had this conversation off air that would
Yes,
surprise
we
a lot of
have.
people about how actually introverted all three of us are. You might see us as extroverted, but quietly, we all have a heavy dose of introversion.
Yeah.
When it boils down to it, I like a lot of alone time, whether it's reading, listening to music, listening to an audiobook, but I like to have a certain amount of quiet that I just like, just relax from the world. But I think we're all three kind of that way.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. And I'm not sure that if I surveyed 100 people right now, If you'd like to call in, we'll take your
Oh, we're going to start doing that. We're going to do call-ins.
Eventually, we're getting there.
I hope so.
Oh,
but
that would be so cool.
wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, no, I'd love that.
But going back, if you asked 100 people right now that know me, it's very unlikely that any of them would think that I am an introvert. But the fact of the matter is, I am. I'm a very extroverted introvert. But it's interesting because I think people see. I mean, you said it. You get what you get with me. This is just me. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's the way it is. But it's funny how we judge our insides by other people's outsides. And people do that to us too.
Oh, yes.
Everything's perfect. No. I know for the three of us, we work our tails off. There's a lot of people in this industry and other industries that work their tails off. But I think no one's going to suggest that wouldn't think that we're not anything but extroverted. And I'm glad you brought that up because it's
kind of surprising,
opposite.
probably, if you get to know us on an individual level.
Yeah.
We're probably all three a little bit more similar in that way.
And that goes back to my family again. My family's the ones that know that I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
My daughter, my middle daughter, my middle kid, I've got 3 kids, and my middle one, the oldest daughter, she's a bit of a psychology nut.
Oh,
And
nice.
She's probably worse than I am at wanting to know how people tick and what their personalities are and stuff. So she's always got all these tests and stuff available. She's very much introverted.
Oh, that's interesting.
But she's a whole lot smarter than I am. And she came up to me one day and she says, "Dad, I figured you out."
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. She says, you have to, as much as you enjoy people, as much as you enjoy doing your things and stuff, you recharge when you're alone. That's an introvert. There's no way you can get around that one.
Yeah.
Extroverts charge around their people. They get their batteries recharged around people. And I love being around my people.
Right.
That's pretty smart, dude. That's a really smart comment.
Yeah,
though.
she figured that out, that it's when I sit around my campfire by myself or with my 3 or 4 close friends, then I can recharge.
Yep.
Introverts doesn't
can
mean
relate to
that
that.
doesn't mean you don't have friends and you don't like people.
Exactly.
It's just how do you charge, and what's the biggest control. Now, I am close enough to the center that I can flip to the other side pretty fast, but my battery runs out.
Yes.
Even like
Exactly.
when I do the bash, which is something, that my whole heart's in that, and I love doing it. And it's around all the people I want to be around. I literally crash it in the evenings.
Yeah.
It wears me out every day to do it, And it is what it is. How did we get here?
I don't know. It just happens,
It
man.
started with philosophical.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Shannon's part. Like I'll
Yeah.
never back to my
How
Friday
did you
fun
make
day.
this all about him?
Yeah, for
we
real.
were talking about you, Shannon.
Yeah, here I said I'm not going to be the deep guy.
This is 225 episodes of practice to try to ask questions to get you talking and not me
And
talking.
I'm the one that said I'm not going to get philosophical on mine. So yeah, my goal is, obviously we're going to overlap. That's going to happen.
Yeah, of course.
We're all in this. We love the shed industry. We see sheds. We yell sheds. Today Shannon's on the phone. We're driving down the road and he's like, "There's a guy with equipment rentals and he's selling sheds." And I don't know what the poor guy on the phone thought, but it was. There's a guy down in Saluda.
Like I've never
I
seen that.
totally believe it.
So now I'm going to put equipment rental on my shed lot. I'm like, whoa, this is something new we can do. Or we're going to copy Dylan. He started this to where he rents out what are those
slingshots.
Slingshots.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're going to
yeah.
rent out slingshots. We're going to have people there anyway.
Man,
So
you could have
why-
a little garage.
Yeah, put them in the garage. Show people how they can store them in it.
Yeah.
Those are sweet.
But my focus is going to be on. So I love all the shed industry. I've done all of it. I've built sheds, sold sheds, been in the rent and
you
own
have.
side, but the hauling side. I was probably 12 or 13 years old when my dad told me. He said, "Son, you're going to have to figure out how to make a living with a steering wheel because a hammer and a saw just doesn't work for you." I grew up building houses, and I've built houses, and this goes all the way back to something Susan said back at the beginning in the fact that my heart is in the shed industry. I I get offers every year of people asking me to build them houses. And that used to be like my biggest dream. I wanted to get my license and build houses. And as a kid, I thought, man, if I ever get there, I'll have it made. But I always wanted to drive big trucks too. So I did both. I've had trucking companies. I've built houses. I've built big houses, little houses. And nothing quite hits me the way the haulers do. The struggles they go through. We talked about that today on an episode about with a hauler, about what gets him is to see people go through the stuff he went through.
And did you take this away at the end of that when people say, how are you going to talk for an hour?
Oh,
we
yeah.
were like,
and then
where did the hour go?
Yeah. Yep.
Because when you really
I
get
actually
into
thought
it, it's
I
all
did.
of a sudden, it's like, we could have talked for 2 or 3. I don't know if anybody would have listened,
Yeah.
but we could have done it.
The haulers would have listened driving down the road, guarantee it, because they love this dude.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not even going to say who it is right now because
yeah.
I want them to listen to my first episode with
Yeah.
him. I didn't even pick this guy, and it just worked out perfect. There's a dozen guys that I could deal with being on my first episode, but he's at the top of the list. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Awesome guy.
And if we would have gone, the thought crossed my mind, man, we could keep rolling with this, and people, at least the hauler side, they would eat it up. He is so full of wisdom and knowledge. And so knowledge, anybody can get knowledge, but wisdom is when you take the knowledge and apply it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
And
Yeah.
has he ever applied it and given back over and over and over again? And that's when I really actually got excited about doing this, is when I did that episode with him. Because I was a little bit like, what are we going to talk about for 45 minutes?
Yeah.
And hour and 6 minutes later, you're like, well, we either cut it off or we go another whole hour.
Right.
Yeah.
I
it was
literally
so
cannot wait
good.
to hear it.
Yeah.
I can't because I wasn't there. So
It was so good. And to be able to pull the steel side into this is huge in my opinion, because since 2010, steel has always been just basically the partner to sheds.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've been preaching for the last year about how much that industry needs a voice. It needs help. It needs this and that. And I'm actually kind of probably a little harder on some of them guys than I should be. But through that, I've actually opened up conversations with guys in steel. The other night I mentioned to an old friend of mine that, we were going to expand the podcast, and he's in the steel industry, and he said, I want to be on it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's going to roll. It's going to roll along just like everything else does.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll have it right there.
I think, like you said, will overlap. You'll have, obviously the base of who you are and how you're known is maybe shed hauling, but there's so much more to your story. Like you said, you've built sheds, you've sewed sheds, so you can dive over into that sales and
I actually put up carports in the 90s.
There you go.
So
build homes.
I think it's
Been down that
fantastic.
So you
road.
understand, and then Susan's been in sheds. You're focusing on steel. I really want to kind of pull back to my comfortable home, which is sales and marketing and just things that I'm passionate about. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been passionate about marketing until I began to understand it better. But sales has always been, because I'm a relationship-based seller. So I don't really understand sales as in gimmicky sales, or I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I've always liked the people side of it, and not just
Me too.
not just trying to obtain the sale, get the sale, hit the numbers. Those things are important to hit the numbers or whatever, but I've just always liked the relationship side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Here at Identigro, we have been providing custom nameplates for the shed and furniture industry for over 20 years. We are so pleased to know that shed manufacturers see the value in expressing their shed brand to potential customers using an Identigro nameplate. When you add an attractive decal to your product, you will more than pay for the cost with increased sales. Clients will not only be able to identify the shed brand, but it will help to brand and advertise to potential customers who can easily see the nameplate and in many cases find a phone number or website to shop for themselves. At Identigrow, we are happy to continue to serve and invite you to visit our website at identigrow.com or give us a call at 540-283-9193. You can even fax us at 540-283-9194 or visit our website by clicking on the Shed Geek newsletter and then simply fill out some basic information for a free catalog or free samples. Thank you, Shed Industry, for allowing us to serve you in identifying your sheds. Identigrow. Identify your products. Grow your business. You know, and I'm exhausted after that because I'm pouring my genuineness into it. I said this earlier, and this may get me in trouble, but you know, before the podcast, there was times in the business that I'd knock on doors and couldn't even get an answer. Mm-hmm. You know, outbound leads, right? Trying to call, cold call, trying to build a relationship with somebody, whether it's RTO or marketing or whatever it is when you're B2B. And man, like, this what the podcast has been cool is being able to like come on here and create content that we think is valuable, we think is educational, we think it's entertaining, and then all of a sudden people get to know you and they're like, hey man, they actually reach out to you and say, you know, maybe I want to work with you or I trust you, or got that phone call today and he's like, man, I didn't know who else to ask, but I knew you would know. And you're like, hey, I take that as a compliment to be like, I can try and like encourage you to do something. And you got to be careful because you don't want to play favorites and you want to be fair to everybody and all these different things. But it means a lot to me that people would care enough about your opinion to call. Mm-hmm. And like, I mean, that's what you guys are already doing that. And now on top of that, you get to use the podcast to branch that out further.
So exciting.
Yeah,
it really is.
I'm super excited. So we're looking for, we'll get the show out. I don't know when we'll get it out. We'll get it out soon, but we're looking for hopefully a launch on the first week of July.
Yeah.
For a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I don't know. Stay tuned because we're going to be coming to you looking to get some podcast content over this next year.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. I know it's rough. I have to travel. But I'm already doing it, so come on, you know.
Somebody's got to do it.
I've talked to several people already. They've all said yes. Thank you. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be very diversified. It's going to be great.
It's so much different when you come on too, right? Like you kind of work it up in your head that like, you know, there's got to be this script and there's got to be all these things. And really, I think that if you if you realize that the pressure's on us to ask questions to you, mm-hmm. to make you the hero, to make you the guest, to make you the story and not us. We do some monologues or we do some stuff like this every now and then where we can chat, but we want to know your story. And for everyone that thinks that they don't have a story to tell, you have way more to tell than you know.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that today, and I think that's important to get out is the fact that everyone has a story. I used to preach this in my evangelical classes when you want to teach somebody to just go out and evangelize. You know, you can go out and preach your beliefs if you want to, and people will argue with you. What they can't argue with is your testimony.
That's right.
What you've been through.
So true.
And that's literally what we're doing is we're recording a testimony. We're helping, like we'll help drag it out of you to where, you know, it takes the pressure off. Yeah. You're like, what am I going to say for 45 minutes? Well, don't worry about it. There's
kind of our responsibility.
Yeah, it's up. Yeah. And, you know, you can almost, I've helped you a couple of times and co-hosted quite a bit, and we've drugged some guys in, mm-hmm. and you can almost tell when it lets go.
Yep.
And when it does, that's when it really gets good.
That is so interesting. I can't wait to see that. I'm gonna be watching for that too.
Yeah, it's a cool thing.
I'm gonna be watching you guys' shows because like there for a while I was listening to every episode back. And now it's like fresh content for me. So like this is in my wheelhouse.
He's
like,
going to be there holding his hair,
grading us.
Holding his head and wanting to pull out the hair.
Speaking of hair, real quickly, I forgot when we were on a quick break on this show earlier, commercial break, someone did call in and asked if Sam and I have the same hairdresser. And I know that many people in this industry have wondered that, and I just want to let you all know we do.
We do. The good Lord above. That's the only hairdresser. He just threw his hoodie up.
For some reason, I don't feel like I'm part of this conversation.
Well, you two have the
we're
glasses.
We're like brother and sister. He's cousin.
I don't know.
Cousin.
The odd cousin that nobody wants to have around. But I'll tell you what, compliments to Farm and Yard for giving me this handy dandy.
You have
what's up
wore
with
that thing all day long today.
Super nice.
I love my buddy Travis Beachy down in Robinson, Texas. Shout out to him for the hoodie, the jacket hoodie.
Wow.
Yeah, just a really cool guy. I'll tell you what, that's one of the coolest things. And of course, I've ran out of everything that I bought to give away. But whenever you go around and you know people are listening, like Wayne down there at PMP in Longview, we show up and him and his wife have some donuts because they know I'm a big donut fan. And I'm like, I'll tell you what, you really feel special when you show up and somebody's got donuts
I
for
like
you.
donuts.
You got to have your Sam's like, I like $100 bills.
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is I like donuts too. They just like me a whole lot more and they never leave.
Man, I'll tell you what, stuff like that is like when you get in your alone place, if you've ever questioned yourself whenever and people say, well, Shannon, it's not a big impact. I mean, you're not Nelson Mandela because you got, you know what I mean, some donuts. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But do you know how important that is to an individual that somebody listens enough to be like, hey, get a dozen of donuts and make sure, man, that warms your heart, bro. You can't be human and that not like, you can't not appreciate those types of things. So
just for the throw out, if I go to Pennsylvania, I expect to see some shoe fly pie.
You could have had that today,
and
FYI.
And you two look at me like I'm crazy.
No, I was thinking, but you was good today.
Yeah, I know I didn't cheat until tonight.
Yeah.
So and then I cheated anyway, so I should have had that pie.
Well, what do you guys think? You think July's a good launch? Ready to do this?
Oh, absolutely.
I think so.
Take on the world, the
Yep.
shed industry, the carport industry, the post frame, the everything in between, swing sets, chicken coops, dog kennels. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got a lot
Hunting
going on,
blinds.
but it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be exciting, and hey, if you find a favorite that you like to listen to them. I hope you enjoy it. I certainly hope that you'll take our recommendation or consideration for those who dedicate financially and through their time to commit by funding us with advertising. It means a lot. And hey, we're capitalistic in nature here. You come on and advertise. We want to promote you. We want to promote those that help. Loudest boos come from the cheapest seat, Sam. The only complaints I've got is from the people who's never paid me $1. So I want to make sure and support those who support what we're doing here. We hope to bring something that's educational, entertaining, valuable. Hope that it makes your day better, and we hope you enjoy the stories.
Yeah,
I know we do.
That's a good point on the if you want to help financially. It's a great place to get the word out about what you're doing. For my side, it might be the guys that are more in the hauling industry or whatever. But for you, it might be more the guys in the steel side. But it's a great place to be able to. I really do. I enjoy when the commercials come on. I guess you call them commercials.
Yeah,
I enjoy those as much as the rest of it. It's cool to see who's on there, who's supporting it, who's looking to grow, who's willing to help the industry, throwing money at it,
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. I guess the one thing that probably I don't tell my core group enough is thank you for being my core group, because when you have a good core group, what the rest of the world's shouting at you just really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Truth. Absolute
and
truth.
it's I know that sounds a little coarse, I guess, so to speak, but it's the truth of the matter. I have a huge core group. And, you know, I can, whenever I do question myself, you know, I can throw it out there to a dozen of them, and they're almost immediately, they're like, man, come on. So that's good to have.
Well,
Absolutely.
I've said this 100 times on the podcast. I'll say it maybe 100 more. There's a book by Philip Yancey. If you don't know who he is, go check him out. It's a book called Prayers, Does It Make Any Difference? And in it, he talks about well-known pastor Haddon Robinson. And Haddon Robinson, every time he got ready to speak a sermon, he would always quietly say, Lord, thank you for the opportunity to speak to these people today, because if they knew about me what you knew about me, they wouldn't listen to a word I'm about to say.
100%.
So I can't ever imagine doing this podcast without saying, thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to do this. It's yours. It'll always be yours. And if I ever make it mine, then I don't deserve it. And that's what's been cool about this. You can just say, hey, let's come on, have a real conversation. Hopefully we can help your company. It doesn't mean you're not welcome. If you don't advertise, of course you're welcome. You don't have to advertise to come on and talk about your product.
We still need guys to come on and talk.
Oh, Shannon, what about your competitor? Well,
I don't.
Come on and let's talk. Let's have a conversation that is valuable and helpful to other people. Lord, no, would you let them advertise? Yes, we would.
Absolutely.
Why wouldn't I? It doesn't matter.
I'll call them tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, they might.
Did you even know which one you were poking?
She's like, I'm just going with something.
Whoa.
Let's run through them. I feel like that's a little much. That's for the welcome Sam Byler.
Yeah.
That's what we were going to do.
So we have a new board. We have to play with it. That sounds like Tinkerbell. Oh,
We need to use that one more.
we do. Yeah.
All right?
No, we definitely need to use that one.
That is not what we want to hear from the audience. We want to hear
We want to hear it.
crowd roar. Oh,
There
that
we
was
go.
perfect.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got Sam's intro music.
That's
Sam Byler.
Oh, it's
The
terrible.
Sambasador.
You know what's going to be fun? You was talking about doing commercials. How fun will it be to do like the fun commercials?
Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the commercials.
You said you like listening to the commercials.
Yeah.
I think people are really going to enjoy that.
Yeah, I agree. They will be good.
That's cool, guys.
That is not growing on me.
This?
No, it ain't growing on
All
me.
right. Well, as usual, an hour goes by before you know
It
it.
does.
That
Yep.
was fast.
All hearts clear. Anything you want to say to the industries, even though it's Shed Geek, it's so much more. But anything that you guys want to share before we go, welcome to the show. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm
And
so
Knuckles.
looking forward to listening to you guys' podcast. I don't think you realize I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for what you do and your dedication to the industry. That's all I've got to say.
I just want to thank you again for this opportunity. I think it's amazing. I mean, we're just going to have so much fun, and I just want to, reach out to me if you want to be on an episode. In fact, reach out to me if you want to be on Sam's episode.
Oh, same. Yes.
We are not competition. We are working together to just bring knowledge. Don't be shy. It's not an interrogation. We just want to get to know you, and you are valuable, and what you have to say is valuable, whether you think it is or not. You addressed that earlier. So I look forward to hearing from some of you. I really do. I'm super, super excited about this. And I mean, you live in Canada? Hey, I might just come to you.
Did you say
A, B, C, D. Washington State, wherever. You never know where the Shed Gal's gonna pop up, and I'm gonna try to do a lot of mine in person if I can.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I've got absolutely nothing to add to that. That's 100%. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah. If you're out there somewhere and you want to get on, I'm going to throw one more thing at you. The devil's going to try to stop you because he does not want your story told. He does not want anybody to unite. He doesn't want joyful news, good news. So he's going to tell you, you don't have anything. Who do you think you are that you want to get on there? You'll even have people tell you that.
Yeah.
Don't listen to it. That's
sure.
nothing. That's condemnation.
Well,
that doesn't come from a good place.
And I want to add to that, it's not bragging
no.
to be on. I've gotten that a couple of times.
Yeah,
Where
I know.
people say, well, I don't want to get on there and brag. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to take you down a notch. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it's...
Yeah, if you start bragging, we'll tap you down a little bit.
It's not...
Leave that up to us.
That'll be a 5-minute episode. You'll be out of here.
Yeah, no, we're it's really easy. Like, we don't expect you to brag either, but telling your story is not bragging. And
Yes,
and
I
the
agree.
Lord's blessed you with that testimony. So, whether we call it a testimony, an episode, whatever you want to call it, man, I enjoy. If you want to get on here and talk about faith, hey, if you want to get on here and whatever it is, whatever you're led to talk about, that's fine. We try to keep it Shed centric or Shed Industries centric, but it has the ability to go wherever we take it. So appreciate you guys listening. All these shows so far, 3 years. We're starting on. Yeah, we're in our 4th year.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's great.
March started year number 4. So
It's a good thing you didn't listen to Sam when you were driving down Route
do I ever?
66 or 77.
77, not Route 66. So, just for the record,
Oh, okay.
I did redeem myself.
All right.
I gave him the biggest platform in the shed industry to kick off at.
he did. Yeah, we went,
I did not know that.
I did.
and that is actually the second most listened to episode. Richard Miller and the third
And the
most
third.
Gideon Zook. Both happened at that
Both happened
platform. Yeah, we
That
had
is
some good
really
episodes
cool. I
there.
had- I did
Gideon
not
Zook.
know that.
So both of those episodes should be way above me. And I'll tell you why. Richard Miller nails Rent to Own.
Rent to own. Yeah,
I mean, just absolutely destroys any negative influence on Rent to Own.
yeah.
And
It's been shared a couple of
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
Yeah,
And-
for people
and-
to go
yep.
to. Yeah.
And then the Gideon Zook one's just off the chart. I mean, you're one of the. We called him Shed Father, I think.
It was. Yeah.
He's one of the Shed Fathers of the industry. Go find that episode and listen to it, because he'll tell you in there that in 1974, I'm pretty sure, go listen and tell me if I'm wrong, 74, he bought a shed company because the guy said the industry was saturated. And I'm hearing that these days
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it you need to go listen to Gideon.
It makes you wonder where it is in comparison to then, because you could easily give up now, right? But that's the way, like, I interpret the Bible. I read those stories like, hey, those are real people. This isn't a story about someone.
That's true.
This is a hand-me-down of his story. So like that's why it's so important. But those are real people that dealt with real situations. And in the 70s, he was dealing with possible saturation. Now here it is 2024, and we're like, we hear it again.
50 years later.
Yeah.
You remember the tagline to that episode?
What have something to do with donuts?
Yeah.
Because he came up
He
and
said
he was like,
he said they
offered me a donut.
They offered me a donut. And they did. I was there.
That
they had
is
a donut
priceless.
truck. They left, and they left
Priceless.
all the donuts
left
on the
all the
table in
donuts
front
on
of
the
us.
table.
And he's like, "Can we have a donut?" And we were like, "If you'll do a show." And he was like, "Yeah, all right." Sat down and he did a show, and it was magic. It was great.
Wonderful.
Awesome show. Yeah.
Well,
Guys, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Appreciate you so
Same
much.
here.
It's been fun already hanging out with you this week. We got so much more to go. Appreciate the journey with you guys.
yeah,
For
looking
sure.
forward to it.
Back at you.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.